Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the breakdown feature. If you are on Android, this is called step-by-step mode. This is one of the coolest features in all of Vinci Eye, and it turns any picture you want into its own step-by-step tutorial. To get into breakdown mode, first you go to Tools, then scroll over to the Breakdown tab, and then turn on the switch that says Breakdown Mode. And this is going to take you to this screen. You'll notice your image is now simplified into just a few shades of gray. Each one of these shades is going to be turned into a layer or step for you to draw. Underneath the image preview is the Cutout toggle. I'll show you what that does in a little bit. Under the Cutout toggle, you can configure how many steps, also known as layers, that you want your drawing to have. The more steps you have, the more detailed the preview image will be. However, you don't want to go over 5 or 6 steps. After 6 steps, it becomes very difficult to draw. Finally, there is the exposure slider. Play with the exposure slider along with the steps until the preview image looks close to how you want your drawing to look. When you are done, press the Done button in the top right corner of the screen. At the bottom of the screen, you will see the color palette. The color palette tells you what order and shade to color in each layer. This is highlighted in red on your screen. After the final step, there are 3 additional buttons on your color palette. The first one is the image preview from the breakdown settings screen. The second is your picture in black and white. The third is your original picture. We're going to start out by making a drawing with cutout mode off. The way this works is we're going to do the same very light color for every single layer, but we are going to layer that color on top of itself to bring out the darker parts of our drawing. To demonstrate this, I'm going to use a watercolor pen with a little bit of black ink in it. For the first layer, I'm going to color in all of the red. But you have to try and do this as evenly as possible. You don't want dark and light spots. Try and keep it consistent. Now we're going to move on to the second layer by pressing the button labeled 2. We want to put down this layer exactly as before, with the same amount of pressure. Now, we are going to go to the third step and do the same exact thing. Put another light and even layer down on top of the first and second layers. You'll start to notice that your picture is forming. Now for the last step. This is your darkest layer. Again, do the same thing one more time. Finally, we're going to use the last 3 buttons on our color palette to add our finishing touches. You can now add in details that look like they may have been missed, or add a bit of style to your drawing. I like to use the strobe feature to compare the reference image to what is on the paper, but I'll talk about the strobe feature in another video. At the end, your picture should look something like this. There are so many fun ways to experiment with the breakdown feature. Here's another example where instead of using shades of gray, I'm using lines to differentiate the layers, creating a cross-hatching effect. Each step is a different line direction. Step 1 is just diagonal lines that go from the top right to the bottom left. Step 2 is just diagonal lines that go from the top left to the bottom right, and so on. Now let's check out what happens when you turn cutout mode on. Instead of layering the colors on top of each other, it separates or cuts out each layer. This might be good if you are using a medium that doesn't work well with layering. For example, we're going to make this portrait using highlighter markers. For the first step, we're going to use a purple marker to represent our darkest color. However, you can choose any dark color that you like. Now we are going to move on to our second step. For this, we are going to use a blue marker. Notice that the blue never overlaps with the purple. For the third step, we're going to use the yellow marker. This represents the lightest color. Notice that our yellow layer never overlaps with the purple or blue layers either. Finally, we're going to go back and see if we missed any spots in our blue and purple layers. This is important to do because in this mode, it is very easy to miss small spots, and you don't want any unintentional random gaps in your drawing. The final thing I'm going to do is use the last 3 buttons to add finishing touches to my drawing. I am using a black fine tip marker to add in some details that were missed by the breakdown layers, but they are in the original picture. At the end, your picture should look something like this. Hey guys, that wraps up our breakdown mode tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions on breakdown mode or anything else regarding DaVinci Eye, please shoot me an email. My email is sam@davinciieapp.com. Also, if you make something cool, we would love to see it. Upload it to the app, DaVinci Eye app, or you can tag us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, @DaVinci Eye, or use our hashtag DaVinci Eye app. All right, guys, take care. I hope you use it well. Show us your pictures. Never stop creating.